Hi, this is Dan Bostrom, Rails Member Engagement Manager, and today we have another edition of the Specialized Library Spotlight, which is part of the My Library Is campaign. Today I'm speaking with Juanita Harrell from the DuPage County Law Library. Juanita, hello.
Hi.
Would you mind just introducing yourself a little bit? Just tell us about yourself for a second.
Sure. My name is Juanita Harrell. I'm the Law Library Manager at the DuPage County Law Library. I have been in this position a little over a year now. I worked here before as the law librarian for 5 years. I started out as a public librarian, worked as a law librarian here, went back to public libraries, and now I'm back here as the manager. And in a previous life, what led me to this legal path is I was a paralegal for 5 years, even before I went to library school. So full circle.
That's great. Yeah, and that's great. And I love it. And of course, our audience loves it when you have different types of library experience, right? You know, you work in different types of places. That's awesome. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your library. Who are your users? What types of services do you provide?
So we're in the courthouse in Wheaton. So we're up on the second floor in the Wheaton courthouse. Our users are mainly self-represented litigants, attorneys, a lot of solo practitioners, because Westlaw costs a lot. And so it's much easier for them to come over here to use Westlaw than to pay for it when they're a solo practitioner. And the judges. We just had a judge come in today to take a book off the shelf to use. So yeah, mainly self-represented litigants, the judges, and a lot of attorneys. A lot of the attorneys are starting to return too, since everything's kind of balancing back out again.
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like a super useful resource for the community. And you talked a little bit about Westlaw. So I'm going to ask you, what is one service or resource in your library that you're particularly proud of? And I know that Westlaw is probably one of the most widely used resources, but is there anything else that you're particularly excited about or pleased about?
Having access to Westlaw is a big deal for our patrons, for our self-represented litigants, the attorneys, and the judges. But honestly, I would say the best resource here would have to be the staff. Honestly, because we hear it over and over again. We get a lot of people coming in that are very nervous. Today, we had a guy that came in for Zoom. He was so nervous, his hands were shaking. People aren't always happy to be in the courthouse. So you get nervous people, angry people. We've had people walk up to the reference desk and suddenly burst into tears. And the staff has been great. Like they're patient, they're kind. Even if someone's just lost in the courthouse and they wander in, they just seem to leave here better knowing that we always make sure if you leave here with a solution. So I say the best resource here would have to be our staff. We make sure, even if it's your original intention was not to come to the law library, that you leave here with a solution. I have to say that's our best resource.
That's a great resource. That's a great resource. Yeah, I'm sure it's really intimidating for a lot of people, and having somebody there to guide them through it, I'm sure that's a huge thing. Okay, in your opinion, why are specialized libraries like yours important? You know, what makes them relevant for users?
Just having one particular place to go to for your legal questions is priceless. I worked at the public library, and you get law questions or legal questions there, and sometimes we can answer them at the public library, but not have access to the resources where we end up sending people to the law libraries anyway. But having access to legal information, the legal databases, the staff that has the knowledge of how to use, or I think one of the biggest takeaway for me has always been the information is there. A lot of it is free, but people don't know how to get to it. So having a staff that knows how to use those resources, how to get to those resources, and teach people how to use them is one of the main reasons of having a specialized library about a particular subject. A lot of people walk in here, they're like, I didn't know this library was in the courthouse. And they always say, is it a public library? I'm like, yes, technically we are a public library that's just specialized in a particular subject in the courthouse.
Yeah, and it's a great way to support the public as well. I think you're totally right that there's almost like there's almost like a language to the law that's different from everyday usage, and having somebody to be able to there to guide you again and sort of interpret, not necessarily interpret the law, but help you
Right.
guide them through navigating the law is a really big thing. Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Juanita. I really appreciate it. That will do it for today's Specialized Library Spotlight. We appreciate everybody watching it. Please check out the My Library Is website with more information and more videos like this. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.